going to make some trap today. And like the key elements of trap are we are playing at 140 beats per minute, and we are playing our kick. We have a kick over here out of the premium package, volume 1, kick 10. That's the one we are using over here. On our kick channel, we placed this into a simpler device and we put it on your kick channel, and it's on the first, on 1, 1.4, and on 2.2. And along with that, we have a bass playing the same structure of notes but other tones. So and that's a sub bass. We can I try to make this Ableton only over here, so no third-party devices. So I'm trying to get everything out of the Ableton Suite package. And if you put in sub over here and you go to bass, you will find this 808 bass over here. It's basically an 808 sample, and it's re-triggering that area for the deep part, and it's a little bit sidechained as well. And since this has such a long bass end tail, I'm going back to the kick and I'm taking out a little bit of the sustain from the kick to not to interfere too much with the bass, and I'm taking down the release as well. So I have this, just the important thing of this kick is to have the transient. Would be a lot longer, this kick usually. But this long tail, you need to listen on headphones or good speakers, not on laptop speakers, to really notice what I'm doing over here. And like we get rid of this long tail to have room for the space over here. And another important element of trap is of course the trap hat. And I'm using like this, our sample pack, the premium, and I'm using 34. So this one, you can check the description for this pack. I'm using 34, and this is the MIDI. It's playing. Solo it. Those are 32, 1/32s, and those are 1/64s, but we are playing at 140 over here. Okay, and we have some send effects. This one is the drum reverb, lightly put on here, no reverb, and use this reverb on that channel over here, this one, drums return channel. And those are the 4 key elements, and everything else can be like switched and swapped. You can make it more melancholic or more party kind of sounding, but those, you really need this kind of bass, you need this kind of trap, hi-hat, and a kick, and then you're basically in the style. So like this. And then we have other elements as well over here. I have a vocal sample. I think I downloaded this from freesound.org, where you can get free sounds and mess around a little bit. And it's somewhere here in my samples. Anyways, I took it here. In the game, running shit like a boss. And there's a little bit of EQing. I'm leaving space. It's a very bass-oriented sample, and I'm cutting out a little. In the game, running shit like a boss. And a chorus on top makes it a little wider. And what do we have here? That's another element out of the Ableton pack. Sounds buzz. It's a pad. So that's the initial sound, and then we are tweaking it a little bit. We are cutting out some frequencies with the equalizer. We are using sidechaining on top, and we are cutting out even more frequencies with the auto filter over here. And then we use this singing EQ setting. So if you go to your audio effects and you type in singing, and formant, you get a formant filter for this EQ, and it cuts out the frequencies that are sounding like an, well, it turns out the frequencies that are sounding like an A. And later I'm also applying some flanger over here. As you see, it's heavy effect chain on this sound. You can like mess around a little bit, and then there's some panning, a lot of panning with a higher rate going on, and there's a ping pong delay. So how does that sound? It sounds like, basically sounds like some kind of vocal sample now. See, what we had initially was actually just a kind of pad sound. So this is where we're coming from, and it's incredible. With this effect chain applied, we sound like this, like a vocal sample. And those are the notes it's actually playing. Yeah, so that's this over here. It's just, since I'm using Ableton only, I'm not messing around with third-party plugins, so I'm trying to create sounds with the Ableton stuff, and I wanted to have something sounding like a vocal that isn't really a vocal. And here you can see how it's applied. So what else is there? We have a siren over here. That's a sample. It's also from freesound.org. It's basically just some siren sounds and a chorus and a delay applied on top for the background of our mix. The bass was already mentioned. Like, just see the notes again over here and play it solo. And also we have bells over here. So we are using some bells also from the Ableton sound. Bells, I think it's out of, how's those called? Bells for Glass. Or the Mallets pack, that sound. And we are compressing it quite hard, high threshold over here. And we are placing a long reverb on top. Like all those settings are more or less the initial settings you get when you, like, maybe the decay time is different, but when you look for this warm long reverb in the audio effects, you will also find this. There it is here. And I think I messed a little bit around with dry, wet, and decay time and stuff like that. And there's another moving pad. That's an analog synthesizer with this sound and auto filter applied, a reverb, and a utility that has gain automation. So what is it? We are playing those notes. And we are like taking in the volume over here to the end of the second bar always. So did I explain what the bells are actually playing? They're playing something like this. So that's that. And over here now we come to the part of the rest of the drum elements, and we have a crash and a reverse symbol over here, just to make the transition between the parts. Reverse sample over here. If you click reverse, it turns around, and this one is playing from the start down. We are cutting out everything below 2.8K. Or more or less everything, and that's our crash and clap, reverse crash and crash. Over here we are adding in a little quick shaker. So that's a shaker, also of the Deep Premium pack, and there's a heavy sidechaining going on, and there's some EQing going on over here, and a little bit of delay. So how does it sound? yeah, it's just adding some drive. Maybe not necessary, but I found it helpful. This element over here, it's just a perk hit and percussive hit. And well, let's quickly check how it sounds on its own. 18, that's it. And we apply some filtering on top. We cut out, well, that's actually quite redundant. Anyways, there's a long tail reverb on top, very, very wet. So how does it sound? And it's on 2.4. Also, we have a clap and a snare. Very simple over here. The snare sounds like this. And it's on, well, it's very basic. It's on 1.3. And there's a little bit of send effect, reverb, drum reverb going on. And it's also quite compressed. And a little bit EQ'd as well. And there's the other clap over here, and you notice I'm turning them in a little bit, like I'm messing a little bit around with the track delay over here. I'm getting them in earlier, some milliseconds earlier. And over here we have a clap sound. We put a chorus on top and put some EQing on top of that as well. And we use it 3 times, and we want to have it like something falling on the floor. That's always a nice effect of when you layer your claps to make them more bouncing. And this over here is a simple cymbal, open hi-hat, a little bit of reverb on top, taken to the right of the panorama, and it's playing that. And this cymbal over here is just playing the same notes with the kick. It's always hitting together with the kick. So yeah, that's a very basic way of starting with the trap sounds in Ableton. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Try it out yourself. Notice kick, trap, hi-hat, and bass are very important elements over here in the style, and everything else is basically open for your creativity. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe to our channel and see you next time. Bye.